Welcome to High Gluttony. I'm Gretchen.
And I'm Becca, and we're two curious ladies who like to cook,
Smoke,
learn,
and enjoy a meal with friends.
We invite you to join us every 10 days or so here at the High Gluttony Homestead and listen to us make a mess
and have a lot of fun. So step inside, Gluttoneers. Hi, Becca. How are you today?
Hi, Gretchen. I'm good. I am ready to keep going with our Marcella month marathon. We will never stop talking about Marcella and Marcella's Italian kitchen, but this is going to be a fun one. This is going to be kind of interesting for us. We don't often do proteins, if you will. This will be interesting. We're making kind of the same thing, but very different things.
Well, you're making scallops and I'm making veal scallopini. Sounds sort of similar, similar cooking times, but very different things. And your scallops were really just supposed to be scallops, but we decided to add the accompaniment for the veal onto your scallops. We were both doing some celery and orange with our protein of choice.
Yeah, orange is the deal of the day. It's in our celery, and my original recipe for scallops called for lemon, but we decided to use orange because Gretchen's using orange for the veal. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. So we're obviously hungry and we're very excited to make these next things. But before that, what are you drinking over there, Gretchen?
I'm enjoying some nice Hendry Pinot Grigio today, since that was the closest thing I had to an Italian white. So I figured try and get close on my wine pairing here. And I just love it. Nice and light.
It looks like a nice little color. I love Hendry. I haven't had that in so long. I'm going to have to seek some out. And I'm drinking an old staple, the Pine Ridge Viognier Chenin Blanc, which is just such a fun little afternoon treat all the time. And I was going to switch to a Chardonnay, but Gretchen said this would actually work really well with my scallops and orange and celery. So
theoretically,
I'm excited.
Yeah.
We'll see. Yeah.
We'll see. Actuality might be a swing and a miss, but I think as far as between a Chardonnay and a Chenin Blanc, I'm always going to lean a little bit closer to the Chenin Blanc for going with seafood, unless it's something like really intense. But since scallions.
All the scallops
are a little more of a nuanced flavor. I just think that Chenin Blanc will be a better option. We'll have to have you report back on that.
Okay, will do. What are you smoking?
I'm having a mixed joint. So in the continued pursuit of just the right amount of high mixed with the right amount of not too high so that I can actually function. I've mixed a weed that I purchased from Ease a couple weeks ago called Afternoon Delight, because it's called Afternoon Delight and it's a hybrid and it is delightful. I mixed it with a little bit of Grow It From Home's culinary grade Oregon guava hemp. So, which is mostly supposed to be used for cooking, but I like to smoke it.
But Gretchen does what she wants.
That's true. All the time. What are you enjoying over there?
I'm enjoying some strawberry cough in a vape pen. This one's got predominantly caryophyllene, followed by myrcene and limonene, and then just a teeny bit of CBD and 84% THC. So it's a nice mellow one. I'm feeling pretty good. I am enjoying that caryophyllene, I guess. I don't know. I'm still learning, but it's nice. I feel good.
Nice.
And I'm in a good place, I think, to saute some things. So we had, like we said, that we're still obsessed with Marcella. We will always be obsessed with Marcella, but at some point in the near future, I think maybe after our next one, we will take a Marcella break. Maybe like just one, but we will take a break.
We will take a break because I don't know, her recipes are really good. I keep finding more and more things in this book I want to cook, and We haven't
Hmm.
done risotto yet or anything like that, so we do need to do that at some point.
I really want to do a risotto with you. I love risotto. Okay, risotto for another day, and then let's get into it. Gretchen's doing veal with celery. I'm doing scallops with celery. And the ingredients for the celery component will be 1 cup. We actually both added a little bit more celery than 1 cup, but 1 cup of celery stalks, stripped of their strings and cut into strips about 1/4 inch thick and 1.5 inches long. Very interesting, specific cutting instructions for the celery.
Yeah, I think we should take a picture of that so we give a frame of reference of like what exactly that looks like, because I was definitely like, I have a hard time visualizing that, but
I got the tape measure out and I
did
literally
you?
was like 1/4 inch by a 1.5. Yeah, it was
You're
very,
very
I needed it to be exact for some reason. I didn't end up cutting them like exactly, but I just needed to know like, what does that look like?
I mean, celery is such a weird shape that good luck. I appreciate that level of effort, really.
It's the only time I've ever done it. I don't really know why I needed to this time, but interestingly cut celery, and then 1 tablespoon of butter, 1 tablespoon of orange peel strips, finely in fine
Julienne.
strips,
Yeah.
finely julienne. 1/4 cup fresh squeezed orange juice and black pepper to taste. And
Perfect.
then Gretchen's veal is 1 pound of veal scallopini pounded, 1 cup of flour, and then salt and pepper. My scallops are 1.5 pounds of scallops, 1/4 cup extra virgin olive oil, 2 medium garlic cloves peeled and thinly sliced, 1.5 teaspoons rosemary leaves, whole or chopped. I'm leaving mine whole, and 2 tablespoons of fresh orange juice. What special equipment will we be using to saute all that stuff up?
Just a saute pan.
Okay.
Easy peasy today.
Easy peasy today. I love that. What world level is this one?
Oh, 2, I'd say.
Max
Yeah.
2.
I mean, if you're doing the scallops, I feel like the scallops, aside from like getting the doneness of scallops, can be a little tricky, but like veal scallopini, I think the hardest thing is finding veal. So,
The whole rhubarb debacle all over
yeah.
again.
So I would say barely able to get enough veal for my veal scallopini, but I got just enough. They had 3 slices, and that was 1 pound.
Phew.
I'm glad I didn't go with the 3 pounds I originally asked for, because that would have been a lot of veal scallopini.
So world level 2,
Yeah.
just because of seafood and veal being its own world of cooking, kind of.
Mm.
Nothing particularly hard, but
Well, you said you had also had some sourcing issues, so
oh yeah, I had to go to
not it.
3 places.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are our steps for the celery?
So we are gonna heat up our pan. Once it's a little bit warm, we'll add our celery and just sort of sweat that out for a few minutes. And then we add once that's kind of just sort of this shy of starting to get tender, because they still want to be a bit crisp, we'll add our orange juice and our orange zest, saute that for a couple minutes, and then that's pretty much done. So that's
Okay.
easy peasy. I think I got all the ingredients.
Butter at some point.
Butter, yes. Okay.
But butter goes after though the celery cooks down a little on its own, or does the
You add it with the orange juice.
Oh, cool. Okay, so celery cooks on its own for a little bit, then we add kind of everything else.
Right.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
So super easy for the celery.
Yes.
What's going on with your veal when you were cooking that?
I pounded that out a little bit. When I go to cook it, I will season it with some salt and pepper. Marcella does not recommend this in her recipe, which I find weird and goes against all of my training. So I will be seasoning mine, and then I will dredge it in some oil. Sorry, apparently Afternoon Delight makes me a little confused. Apologies. I'm going
Too
to
afternoony, less
too
delighty.
afternoon. Yes, less delight. More afternoon, less delight. This is why I mixed it, because I was like, it's nice if I don't have shit to do. Great, perfect for that. But if I am trying to accomplish something, not the right thing. All right. So for my veal, I'm gonna pound it out a little bit, add salt and pepper, dredge it in some flour, which really just means covering it really well on both sides. Then I'm going to fry that in a hot pan just till it's brown a little bit on one side, flip it over, brown it a little on the other side, and then pull it off the heat. Then you're supposed to make the celery as that part of the recipe. And then we'll add the veal scallopini back in, cook together. But we're going to do it a little out of order for our recording just to make things easy, because Becca's not going to want to cook her protein until last, and the celery can hold for a minute. So we're actually going to start with the celery and then cook our proteins. So to be clear, for my veal, after we've cooked our celery and wiped the pan out, I'm going to heat up some hot oil, season my veal with salt and pepper, dredge it in the flour, and fry it in a hot pan on both sides until brown.
Yum. I mean, I
Good.
don't want to eat veal, but yum.
You're like, I have a problem with all of this, but
in theory, I get why that would be delicious. And okay, so again, kind of simple. Just a little bit of, you got to dredge and then you got to saute and flip.
Yep.
And then what am I doing with my scallops?
I only bring this up because it's kind of an important thing for scallops. You want to make sure you give those a rinse very first thing after you get them back from the store. Just helps wash any funkiness on the outside off. We're going to season them with a little salt and pepper and then add them to a hot pan. Right? I didn't read your recipe as many times as I read mine.
I think, okay, so for mine, she does also recommend the small bay scallops, which is important.
The little guys. Yes.
Yeah. She says if they're bigger than that, to cut them. So I think that small size is really important to this.
Yes.
And so like Gretchen said, wash and pat them thoroughly dry with a towel, which I've already done. And then the oil and the garlic go into a skillet with medium heat.
Yeah, that's why I was like, I need to actually look at this again. I did it yesterday, but clearly forgot everything. Okay.
Pick me up there then after the oil and the garlic go into the pan.
Okay, so you get your oil and garlic in. When the garlic starts to have a little bit of color, we're adding the raspberry in and then giving that a quick stir. You'll add all the scallops, salt, and pepper, and turn the heat up to high and cook, stirring frequently for 2 minutes until the scallops change from translucent to flat white. Add the lemon juice and turn up the heat as high as possible just to give a little bit of reduction of the juices going on in there. And then transfer to a warm platter and serve at once, or transfer to a warm plate and eat.
Yeah, immediately. So no flipping on mine. They go in and then I stir, but I don't. When she says stir, does that mean mix it up or just kind of like shuffle the pan back and forth a little?
I think this would be stir, because this would be shake. Like usually shake. Yeah, hand motions are happening, people. Shake versus stir. So like, I think if it was more of a flip or like saute type motion, she'd say that. But since it says stir, I think it's a physically stir. So I think because you're pointing out that the smaller the pieces are, the better. That's part of the stirring. Like, you're not even looking to get any color on them necessarily at all, because you've already added your other aromatics. And so to get color, you might have to turn the heat up too high and would ruin those. So
I see. So stirring just more to ensure even cooking, less than like you were looking for a specific like caramelization, which I would probably look for with like a bigger scallop.
Right. Exactly.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
Okay, cool. And again, I'll be doing orange instead of lemon.
Instead of lemon. Yes. Yeah.
Fun. Okay. Very exciting. I've never had orange scallops with orange, so this will be fun.
I mean, neither have I. When I have been able to tolerate eating scallops, it's mostly been in the context of having lemon or something like that with it. I will be interested to hear how you feel about it. But I can't, as I say on a fairly regular basis, I can't imagine how that'd be bad. So
just maybe a little sweeter, but scallops are already sweet, so it might be a nice balance.
It might be. And then like you could always taste it a little bit, and if it's too sweet, you could always just add a little lemon juice kind of over
Mm-hmm.
the top just to add a little bit of acid. So there's always the option to add something if it's not quite right.
More citrus.
Yeah,
We're avoiding scurvy and we're figuring out flavors.
we're doing it.
Okay, that feels again super easy. So I'm feeling confident and comfortable, which is a rare combination for me before we go into cooking together.
Thank God I've done it at least once for you. It's only fair.
But because we are also closing in on our Marcella marathon, we did want to just dip in a little bit more to her thoughts in the Marcella's Italian kitchen. And in particular, because Gretchen is so obsessed and fascinated and endeared by Italian cooking, we wanted to dig in a little bit to like what she says is like an Italian menu and what the expectations are with an Italian. If you're going over to Marcella's house for dinner, this is probably what you're going to experience.
Exactly. We're doing a selection from the section of Marcella's Italian kitchen that starts with composing an Italian menu, but we're going to hop right into the second part of this that says the classic Italian menu and its alternatives. Most Italians expect their principal meal to begin with soup, pasta, or risotto, succeeded by a fish or meat course, accompanied by a vegetable, and followed by a salad. They take dessert on special occasions in restaurants, but at home they usually end the meal with fruit. Nearly all the recipes in this book are grouped into categories that correspond to the different stages of an Italian meal. You can compose your own Italian menu, choosing from each category the dish that is most compatible with the season, with the occasion, and with the harmonious sequence of flavors you wish to establish. I am convinced that a succession of small courses is the most interesting and balanced way to experience Italian food. There is no question, however, that eating patterns are changing, even in Italy, even in my own home. We may want sometimes to follow a pasta with nothing more than a salad, or skip the first course altogether and begin with the fish or meat course, possibly preceded by a small appetizer. On occasion, we could even be satisfied with just one of the more substantial vegetable dishes. Any of the recipes in the main body of this book may be used in this manner. The choice is obviously the reader's. Therefore, no set menus have been suggested. The yields of the recipes have been calculated on the assumption that they would be used as a part of a traditional menu with 2 or more courses. If you depart from that format, or if you have teenagers at the table, I hadn't clocked that part of that sentence before.
Very important to note, teenagers eat a lot, according to Marcella. I mean, I think that's true in general, but also she made a point to point it out.
Yeah. You should consider increasing the amounts. So teenagers or less substantial or less courses, that's when you need to increase the quantities. Because the dishes we're actually making, we're referring to them as sort of the main course. But as she's pointing out in this section, that's not necessarily how most meals are structured. I kind of lost my train of thought.
I'm always intrigued by the salad after. I feel like I should start doing that, but I love a salad to start.
I don't know if this is just, I feel like it's an American resistance to vegetables that they make it go in the front, you know?
Get it over with.
Yes, exactly. Get it over with. Or it definitely feels like a special thing. Whereas I can see why they'd use it as a bit of a palate cleanser otherwise. But
The tomato onion salad that we made would be really good after this dinner if you had like
a dinner.
veal and scallops for dinner. So very customizable, but also there's like a traditional way to go about an Italian dinner, but you definitely don't, like Marcella's saying, you don't have to do that. You can do whatever you want.
Right. No rules. Wait.
She'll have opinions, but no rules. Yeah.
She has opinions, but she's dead, so we don't really have to care.
Oh my gosh. Well, we also thought it would be kind of nice to round out this little episode with another reading from Ingrediente, because she does love talking about fresh produce in there, and we're both using celery. So we're Going to share a little bit about her thoughts on celery from Ingrediente. Should you decide to make a bolognese sauce or a full-scale minestrone or any of scores of dishes that require a vegetable sofrito, a base of sautéed onion and minced carrot, you must absolutely have celery on hand. It keeps a long while, so there is no reason not to buy it before you need to use it. The question you might have is whether to get the pre-cut packaged ribs or a whole celery. That is the first question.
I mean, that's an important question. And I am ready to hear Marcella's thoughts on this because this is the debate I frequently have. So I'm ready. I'm ready for
I
this
know.
knowledge.
Here we go. The packaged celery takes less room, but a whole celery is a better choice. It is fresher, as you can judge from the condition of the leaves, which must be bright and green and erect.
And erect. No
I
flaccid
know.
leaves here.
Get
No.
rid of that. If you're showing up with a flaccid leaf celery stalk, I'm not playing your game.
Out. Hard out.
Oh my gosh. So whole celery, you got to do it. The leaves, moreover, are very useful cooked in a braise or in any dish where you need a stronger celery aroma than the ribs alone can provide. When possible, choose celery whose green color is pale rather than dark because it is sweeter, which I totally would have assumed the opposite.
That actually makes a lot of sense. Just from my knowledge of cardoons, which are a relative of it's in the artichoke family. And so
Mm.
the way you're supposed to grow that is like by kind of wrapping all the leaves around the stalks in order to blanch them out to make the stalk sweeter. So like
Cool.
chlorophyll, I think, is quite bitter in general. So the
Hmm.
darker green, I think this is the rule. I don't know actually. I'm like, oh, maybe this is wrong. We'll find out. The darker the green, the more chlorophyll is what I would assume.
It would make sense when you think about like collard greens or chard or spinach, like those darker
Kale.
greens have
Yeah.
that like kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Hmm.
Whenever I bought celery at the market in Italy, the stall keeper handed it to me wrapped in butcher paper. I stored it in the vegetable compartment of my refrigerator, still wrapped in that paper and placed loosely inside a plastic bag. It stayed fresh for close to a month.
Yeah, I went into my fridge thinking last night to be like, how is my celery doing? Because I had bought it a while ago, maybe closer to like 2 months ago.
Wow.
It was like, no, I gotta buy new celery now. So
Yeah, pushing it.
it lasts a while, but it can't be too far. It couldn't be too
Yeah.
far gone.
I wonder if the butcher paper makes a difference and the loose holding in a plastic bag.
See, both of those things would help keep moisture in, but I guess like the paper could help. It would absorb any moisture so that it's not like sitting on the actual celery itself. Maybe I had not heard that before.
Mm-hmm. So she goes on to say, in Florida, where we now live, so very humid, I wrap a whole celery in paper towels and refrigerate it inside a plastic bag. So probably to absorb moisture away from the celery. To keep its moisture from leaking to the base and the leaves, I trim away some of the base and cut off the leaves, keeping those in a separate airtight bag. So she like brings it home, cuts it up a little bit, takes the leaves off and takes the base off, and then stores it. That's interesting to me. Oh, she trims away some of the base. I was like, that's interesting. She cuts off the base when she said you have to buy the whole.
Yeah, but she's just talking about like a thin. It's like cutting flowers for like if you're putting them in a vase, you should cut the bottom off. So it's like cutting a little bit of that base off helps it so that it doesn't get too hard on the outside because that's where it wanted to naturally take moisture through. So you want to provide it with the freshest surface possible to absorb moisture.
Got it. Okay. Peel away as many of the strings as you can, particularly from the thick outer ribs, using a vegetable peeler with a swiveling blade. Interesting. She peels her
Yeah.
celery. When peeling, work up from the bottom. Celery's role in cooking is usually a secondary one, but it can also emerge on its own, as it does in one of my family's favorite dishes. When you have pulled away all the strings, Cut the ribs into 2 or 3 pieces. Peel some potatoes and cut them into wedges. Put both celery and potatoes in a saucepan with salt, olive oil, and lemon juice. Cover the pan and cook over gentle heat until the potatoes and celery are tender. That sounds so good. Look into the pan from time to time, turning its contents, and if necessary, to keep them from sticking to the bottom, add a little bit of water. Serve as soon as done. Yum.
Yeah, that does sound really good. I mean, celery is such an undervalued vegetable, really. Like most people, I think, just overlook it as something so basic, and it's really versatile as a
Mhm.
vegetable.
Yeah, it can add a lot at the right time, or it can just kind of be there and float around innocuously, but then it also can be a star when you need it to be.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to have this be a main part of this that we're cooking today. It's kind of
Hmm.
exciting.
So I guess we should start cooking then.
We should. We should. So we're going to be starting today with the celery. Put the celery in the pan, turning the heat down to very low, and then add the remaining tablespoon of butter and a little salt. Stir once or twice and then cover the pan and cook the celery until tender but slightly crunchy, about 10 minutes. When the celery is done, uncover the pan and add the orange peel and the orange juice. Turn the heat up to medium and stir with a wooden spoon, loosening the cooking residues from the bottom of the pan. And then that's our celery. So that's the
Okay.
whole thing.
Okay. So let's get that started and then we'll do veal next.
Let's do
Here
that.
we go.
Guess
Celery
it's
in the
gotta
pan.
cook for 10 minutes. Yeah. All right. Here goes my butter. I guess I could have turned the heat up just a smidge more so that it was a little bit warmer since we're starting with a cold pan here. Got to melt that butter first. I'm actually going to crank my heat up here because I had it on like low, and I'm getting bored waiting for this to melt already, and it's only been like 10 seconds.
Okay. And a little salt, right?
Yes, a little salt. Where did my salt go? Here, salty, salty, salty.
Why is the wooden spoon called out?
Not sure,
Yeah.
actually. I don't know. For the most part, I almost always use wooden spoons. Unless it's something I know I need a rubber scraper for. Like I'm never using like metal spoons when I cook. So I
Yeah.
don't know
I
if that's
usually use
just,
silicone.
yeah. So I think silicone's fine because we're using a non-stick pan, but she didn't call that out. So you hear that nice sizzle. So I'm
Yeah.
going to start with get my celery going here.
Okay.
Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. I'm going to throw just a couple tablespoons of water in here.
Okay. To make
Since
up for the
it's,
missing veal.
yeah, make up for the missing juice. Don't want to over caramelize it again like I did with the melon, which was very good, but strongly suspect not what I was looking for. So I think mine's ready to go. I'm going to stick my lid on. I'm going to set a timer. I'm going to set it for 7 minutes. Check it in 7. How you doing over there?
Good. I needed to turn my heat up a bit to get that butter melting. So I'm just getting my sizzle going. I'm just going to let it sizzle for a minute in the butter and then turn it down. Put the heat on or put the lid on.
Good thing you said something. I did not turn my heat down. Hot celery.
Coming in hot. Oh, I need to add a little bit of water too. I forgot about that already.
Suppose you could also just toss a little bit of wine in there as well.
Ooh, that. Yep, would have been a good option. Okay, lid on. And we're going to let our celery totally finish before we start. So talk me through what your veal steps are going to be.
My veal. All right, so I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of butter and all the vegetable oil that I'm supposed to have out for this. Didn't write it in there, so I'm going to guess about 3 tablespoons of vegetable oil as well. Half and half. I think it's supposed to be an even mix from what her suggestion was. And it says, put 3 tablespoons of butter and all the vegetable oil in a skillet, turn on to high heat. When the fat is very hot, dredge the scallopini one by one in the flour on both sides. Shake them to shed excess flour and slip them into the pan. Do not put any more scallopini into the pan at one time, then will fit loosely without overlapping. Brown the scallopini quickly on both sides and transfer them to a platter. And that's it. Then later I toss that together with the celery and cook in the sauce just a little smidgy. And when I'm ready to have my dinner this evening, I'll toss it with the celery and
Voila.
voila. Yes, simple, delicious. I'm hoping for magic.
We decided once you're like about to flip or on your second flip of your veal, I'm gonna get my scallops going. So it says put in the oil and garlic and then turn on the heat to medium. Should I
It'll be
start
fine.
heating up my pan or wait?
Wait, because we still have 4 minutes on the celery. I mean, I guess you could.
I'm
You
behind
could.
you on the celery too. So I'm gonna need
Okay.
a couple more minutes there. I'll just wait until you start going and then I'll just
I think we
start.
could kind of do them at the same time. So,
Okay.
like, you could start your garlic when I'm about to get into my pan with my scallopini. How's that
Okay.
sound?
That sounds perfect. And I'm out of wine.
The steps that you're going to follow for your scallops, you're going to choose a skillet that can accommodate the scallops in a single layer. Put in the oil and garlic and turn on the heat to medium. When the garlic becomes a pale gold, add the rosemary, stir quickly, and then add the scallops, salt, and grindings of pepper, and turn for about 2 minutes. Oh, turn.
Oh, so she adds salt once it's in the pan.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's fine. You can salt it before it goes in. That's okay. Do you already season it then?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's fine. I think it's fine. I was just going, oh, because she says turn for about 2 minutes. So I guess you are like flipping them over. Because I got the stir quickly, and then I heard stir, and then I had stir. Oh, there's more stir frequently. So you're supposed to turn them for the first stage.
That's a lot of scallops to turn. They're so tiny. There's no way to turn them all in 2 minutes.
Maybe like if you had a
flip.
fish spatula that was like you could flip them over with. I think just stirring is fine. We've got 45 seconds left here.
Okay.
I'm going to check mine.
Oh, but then just to close out that scallops. So
I know. 1 second.
Cook stirring frequently until flat white, and then add the orange juice and turn the heat up.
Turn up the heat high as possible. Stir once or twice. Transfer to a warm plate and serve at once.
I'll get a plate ready.
I need to have something for my celery to go in. I'm going to taste a little piece of this. See where we're at texture-wise.
Yum.
Tender but slightly crunchy. I think I'm there. Probably could have done more to remove some of the strings. String.
Oops.
All right, I'm going to add my orange juice in. I did way more zest than I needed to. I'll throw my zest in here, sprinkle it over. And there goes my orange juice. And turning that baby up to high, right?
Medium.
It
was on low.
Yeah.
It's a little up. Junior high. It's not ready for high school. Okay. I'm going to add my orange juice in and peel.
So I'm going to take this out of my pan. Okay. I need this pan for my scallopini. Too big to fit in any other pan I've got. It smells really good. I'm going to wipe this pan out before I with my oils and stuff here. There goes my butter.
All right. So you're moving on your veal.
I'm moving and shaking on my veal. Yes.
Okay. Adding some pepper to my celery.
So I got my flour for dredging on a plate, and I've seasoned it with some salt and pepper.
So I'm going to be ready to go on the stovetop soon with my scallops in.
Right.
Got it. I'm on deck.
Try and get fully covered here.
I'm going to turn my pan on low.
Well, I'm going to start putting pieces in because my oil's getting quite hot. Anytime you want to get your stuff going, we'll be fine.
It's going time.
Sorry, I didn't quite anticipate the pan heating up quite that quickly. I thought it might need another minute to recover, but it got quite warm quite quickly.
It was ready.
Didn't want to wait. Piece number 2. And my pieces of veal are so big I can't even fit all 3 in at the same time. So I guess it's fine. But you're going, right?
Yeah, I'm going. My garlic's not ready yet. I had to turn my heat up just a bit. I don't think I was quite at medium. So I'm behind you. But
okay, that's fine.
I'm hoping
because yours is more time sensitive. Whereas my recipe, actually, she says at the bottom, you can prepare up through step 5 and then reheat later. And so this is pretty much step 5.
Right also, my garlic is like still not golden or a pale gold, but it's just there. So I'm actually going to add my rosemary, and then I will be like 2 minutes behind.
Yeah, that is the nice thing about scallops. They are a expedient dinner idea because they cook
Yeah,
so quickly.
totally. Got my rosemary in. It is time for the scallops.
Woo woo.
Woo hoo hoo. Roller coaster. Scallop.
But see, this is if you were working at a restaurant, this is pretty much how you would fire something like this. I mean, you would still try and keep the veal scallopini and the scallops pretty close together. But since like the scallopini is something that can kind of sit in a pan in the sauce for at least a minute, if you had to hold it on the stove while you got your scallops ready, it's not going to be the end of the world.
Gotcha. So we are following protocol.
Yes,
Well, they're very pretty.
I bet.
Change the heat to high. Okay. All right. My scallops are cooking down. So they're like almost that translucent white. So I'm about to add my orange juice and turn the heat up as high as possible.
Okay.
Okay. My heat's off.
Okay. How's it look?
Looks good.
Excellent. You've got dinner out of the way.
This is it. We're all set with our dinner. This is very good. I love it. I love the orange in the celery. I love the orange in the scallops. Yum.
Yay.
Mm-hmm.
Now try some of my veal.
Okay.
Oh my God.
So good.
Mm-hmm. Like really nice with the orange and the meat.
Did you mix it with your celery?
Mm-hmm. I just kind of rubbed it around in the pan
Mm-hmm. Yum.
and then put a little bit of the sauce on top with the celery. So yeah. Oh my God, that's
Very
perfect.
good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is delicious. I really like the celery.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, that could go with anything, really. Like chicken, meat,
Mm-hmm.
other fish.
Mm-hmm.
Really nice.
It's good in an actual bite with the scallop too, because it provides a really nice crunch.
Oh, I bet.
Yum.
Yeah.
I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I wish I had a little more garlic in the scallop.
Next time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Next time for sure.
Mm.
This is fun. As
Yeah,
always, Marcella gives us like the best space to play with, and it's perfect as it is, but she gives us an opportunity to make it our own too.
It's just so nice that there's like this really elegant simplicity of the ingredients. So there's like lots of room to play.
Mm-hmm. That's a great way to put it. She's nailed the elegant simplicity.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Yum, yum, yum. Yum, yum, yum.
So amazing. So we'll put these recipes up on the High Gluttony website. We'll link it in our show notes at some point and sometime.
We hope.
Whenever I do it.
Yeah.
This is success again.
Success again. In Marcella, we trust.
In Marcella, we
like
trust.
Like and subscribe. Rate us. Give us a comment if you can. We love it. We love the feedback. Send us an email. We have not heard from people in a while. We would love to chat. Tell us if you're making what we're cooking or anything. But thanks for joining us, Gluttoneers.
And off we go. What's your world level assessment? We never do this, but
yeah. 2. Just,
2. Okay.
Yeah. Not hard, but like not something you can like walk away from and
right. Yeah, no, definitely.
You gotta
not,
be you gotta be paying attention. But easy, delicious, a good option for like I imagine like you did veal, you could substitute a lot of other options for like this cooking method. Mm-hmm.
Anything. Yeah. Chicken.
Did you try it with your wine?
No, I forgot. Hang on. Since I was trying not to keep drinking lots of it while I was trying to be sober enough to go somewhere, but
it's good with that. Good call on the Viognier Chenin Blanc. It worked great.
Yeah. It's pretty good with my Pinot Grigio, but I think it overpowers it slightly because it's a little bit more of a mild wine. So I think maybe it would be better with your scallops versus my veal, which has like butter and but no, that's awesome. I'm glad yours is so good. Steered you right.
Perfect steering. Well driven. Thanks for joining us, Gluttoneers.
Off we go. Desserts up next.
And then off we go.
Well, we are going to off go for a little while, and then you'll hear from us in a few days.
I guess see you soon. Off we go.
Off we go.
Hear you soon. Yeah, let's just close it.
Yeah, stop. We're going to stop. Stop that. We're overthinking it.
We're done.